Love wants you, we can bring it on the floor. Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it, dancing.
Hey guys, what's cracking? We are back and we are now launching a new kind of just update to the series for competitive analysis. Hope you guys like this new format. It took me a while to set it up, but we're looking at a bunch of new Pokemon in the tier actually. Well, not a bunch, but a brand new Pokemon in the tier. This is being Hoopa-Unbound. It was requested in my previous video to do a video about Hoopa-Unbound. I am doing a slightly different format. We're going to look at some stats and such. Then we're going to look at just like, I guess, teammates, counters. And I will say that what we are going to look at some battles, not in this video, but instead what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be launching the laddering series that happens on Saturdays. Will be using a Pokemon that was shown, the team will be using a Pokemon that was shown in that week's competitive analysis. That way you'll be enticed to come back and watch again. And also keeps this video kind of shorter because these videos are sometimes getting pretty long. Alright, so let's get started. Hoopa-Unbound is a Dark Psychic type currently ranked as S rank in the OU tier, actually putting it in very considerable contention for getting booted from the tier and banned to Ubers because it has a 680 base stat total while not taking up your Mega slot, which is crazy. It's slightly reminiscent of Kyurem Black, however, I believe that Hoopa is not unbeatable. However, I will say that not a lot of things like to switch into Hoopa. Okay, so if we just look at its stats, we can see that Hoopa is an extremely offensive Pokemon, but not extremely bulky, especially on the physical side. You're going to have 180, 60, 130 defenses, which means you can definitely take a lot of hits on the special side, especially with investment, but you will not be able to take a whole lot on the physical side at all. 160, 170 are just ridiculous mixed attacking stats, meaning Hoopa can really run either way it wants to go. But the kind of poor speed tier means Hoopa's going to have to take hits a lot of the time. So that's actually very unfortunate for it, as it doesn't usually have the bulk to take too many hits. So it relies on being able to dish out massive amounts of damage, which it is certainly very capable of doing. Alright, so if we look at its ability, Magician, it's not an ability that comes in handy too much. Some people like to run Citrus Berry on their Hoopa-U and then steal the opponent's item, which can actually be pretty cool and a pretty useful strategy, actually, no doubt. But none of the sets I will be talking about today are utilizing this particular strategy. However, if you want to kind of opt for that, that's definitely an option. I just don't find it to be super competitively viable because it relies a lot on being lucky and stealing the right item from your opponent. Because, like, if you steal leftovers from your opponent, like, congratulations, your Hoopa-Unbound now has leftovers. Like, it's not going to help you that much. But it has a 4 times weakness to Bug and a 2 times weakness to Fairy, which are both not uncommon attacking types, but neither are also super common. On the flip side of that, a lot of Pokemon do run U-turn, so you're going to want to be wary of that. But it also has no resistances, so while it doesn't have many weaknesses, you aren't going to be resisting actually anything. It has 1 immunity to Psychic type, which is worth noting, but besides that, like, you really can't rely on it tanking hits really that reliably, bar investment, which is what I get into with the first set we're going to be looking at today. Oh geez. Alright, so the first set we're going to be looking at is the Assault Vest set. This is my personal favorite Hoopa-Unbound set. It fits into a lot of teams as a kind of specially bulky, almost like an offensive pivot, but fills more of a tank role. Drain Punch, Gunk Shot, Zen Headbutt, Hyperspace Fury / knockoff. So this is the Assault Vest boosting your special defense by 1.5 means you hit a 359 special defense stat within this kind of investment, and after the Assault Vest boost, you're hitting only just 539 special defense, which is, going to be crazy hard for your opponents to bust through. And it's going to be able to eat up special hits for days, which is why it's going to be a set that you see me utilizing a lot. It's just really one of my favorite Pokemon to use right now. It also fits into a lot of teams where previously I'd really like to put Conkeldurr, The only difference being Conkeldurr is not afraid of being status and actually likes to switch into moves such as Scald, while Hoopa-U has better coverage, and a little more bulk on the special side, but does not want to switch into Scald a whole lot. Yeah, but it is what it is. You can't win them all. But I do really like Hoopa-U, especially if it fits well into teams where you already have a switch in for Scald or Pokemon that are fishing for status. So 252 attack investment, 252 special defense, and 4 speed. You really want to run an adamant nature on this set just to maximize your attacking power. You will find that Hoopa, despite its slightly higher special attack stat and its great special attacking move pool, you will really be wanting to use its physical move pool a lot more just because it has a lot more abusable moves within its physical move pool. That being Drain Punch gives Hoopa a really great way to break through steel types that literally can take all 3 of his other attacks and just kind of heal back up, which is awesome. Gunk Shot to hit fairy types, which is really clutch. Zen Headbutt will just gives you some really powerful stab, and you won't really be outspeeding much, but you do have flinch chance against Pokemon that you do outspeed if that matters to you. And then Hyper Speed Fury oh geez, sorry, I yawned. I am tired, guys. I think I'm coming down with something. So, but Hyperspace Fury / knockoff. That's a personal choice. Would you really want to lower his use Hyperspace Fury? It can let you break through, protect. Offers more damage and more consistent damage actually, but you will find that you are struggling to maintain bulk, I guess, because it kills Hoopa-Unbound's chance to survive maybe even one neutral physical attack. It really hurts that. And then so I usually opt for knockoff just because of the utility. I don't really care about the added power. I'm usually only going for knockoff when I know something's about to switch anyways, so I'm not too worried about using Hyperspace Fury on the reg. But that said, that's definitely an option. Another option might be you want to go with Focus Blast instead of Drain Punch, and then change your nature potentially to whatever is boosting attack and lowering probably defense instead. Or maybe even speed, I don't know, probably just what's lowering defense. You really don't want this Pokemon taking hits on the defensive side, but Focus Blast may hit things like Ferrothorn a little harder, which might be really useful. It might not, it depends. So it depends on how much your team fears Ferrothorn, how much you really need to break through it fast. Drain Punch will also break through it and beat Ferrothorn 1v1, but again, it's going to be a little harder to do it quickly. I think Drain Punch is a 3-hit KO, giving it maybe a chance to Leech Seed you or something. It's 3 KO as opposed to Focus Blast. Of course, you're taking the miss chance, but if it connects, it will probably be a 2-hit or maybe even a 1-hit KO. I think it's going to be a 2-hit KO. Alright, so if we look at our next set, this is going to be the Wall Breaker set. Really, the attack moves are all going to stay the exact same, but this time you're going to want to run some speed, you're going to want to run some attack, and this is going to be the Wall Breaker set. It really utilizes just the fierce amount of damage that Hoopa-Unbound can dish out, and you can utilize Life Orb in it, and just really that 30% attack boost will really be helping you just punish your opponent's team. Every time it switches in, it's going to really put a lot of offensive pressure on your opponent's team, and really, honestly, kind of in a similar way that Landorus T did back in its day. Maybe not as efficiently, but really shift momentum back onto your side every single time it comes onto the field. So this is definitely going to be a super viable set, and achieves a lot of kills that the Assault Vest variant could not. But I will say that you're going to want to be really wary that you're going to get a lot more damage on both sides now because you aren't using the Assault Vest. But again, that's up to you. So yeah. Alright, next set is going to be the Choice Scarf set. The Choice Scarf set is pretty popular, but not super popular. Choice Scarf lets, this is more of an offensive pivot type role, and it allows Hoopa-Unbound to actually beat a lot of Pokemon that it fears because it can now outspeed them. It hits a pretty solid speed tier after this. You can outspeed Scarf Tyranitar, stuff like that, and really just punish them with Drain Punch. Again, Focus Blast is always an option. I think the other 3 moves you really want to be consistent with, and because you'll find that the physical attack move pool is just better. Gunk Shot beats your fairy types, then Headbutt for stab and Knockoff for stab plus utility. Hyperspace Fury if you'd like to run that. Yeah, the Choice Scarf will put you at a pretty great speed tier, letting you outspeed a lot of stuff. If I just, I'm forgetting what it ends up being actually, but you'll definitely be able to outspeed base 110s, which is pretty vital, considering that's like a very benchmark place to be in the OU tier. after that, I'm not sure how high it goes. So Pokemon that if we start looking at Pokemon that Hoopa really pairs well with, we're going to be looking at a lot of more like Pokemon that can actually support its bug and fairy type weaknesses because it has no resistances. Pokemon that can eat up physical type attacks really because Hoopa really doesn't want to stand on those. So we start looking at Pokemon like Ferrothorn really pairs well because it's neutral. It helps it out with its bug weakness. Another Pokemon that actually functions really well is going to be Heatran, both specially defensive and offensive variants, because they can take on fairies really effectively. They can take on bugs really effectively, and from there they can proceed to use stab, set up, whatever you want to do. So that's going to be. I think steel types in general are going to be your premier Pokemon to pin next to Hoopa-Unbound. Perhaps a Scissor with Choice Band could help you revenge kill some stuff, or even eat up a physical hit and then proceed to pick it off into a range where it needs to be, and then probably kills most fairy types actually. So those are some good teammates I would recommend. Really, just any steel type. It will give me a great pair for Hoopa-Unbound because steel types tend to have that big physical defense stat along with a big ability to wall, bug, and fairy types. As far as Pokemon that Hoopa fears, it's going to be Pokemon that are faster than it, which is like everything. Namely, Pokemon that are faster than it that abuse big physical attacking stats, or in most of these sets, physical walls. So you'll notice Hoopa can actually be really Ferrothorn, if it's not running Focus Blast, Ferrothorn can put a lot of stress on Hoopa just because beating up a Rocky Helmet, let's say Ferrothorn's running Rocky Helmet, beating up a Rocky Helmet Iron Barbs Ferrothorn that has leech seeded you with Drain Punch doesn't really go well for Hoopa. It probably will achieve the kill if Ferrothorn stays in, but Hoopa will be pretty effectively weakened after that fight, and just picked off very quickly, maybe even in hazard damage range. Hoopa does appreciate some hazard support actually because of that. It's being neutral to all forms of hazards. So the big thing that Hoopa's going to want to fear is, usually just physical walls. That's why Focus Blast is going to be really helpful for it. Also, really fast Pokemon that abuse priority and strong attack power. So what comes to mind would be like Choice Band, Azumarill, Talonflame, and Scissor are the top three that come to mind, along with Bisharp to a lesser extent, although not that lesser, I guess, Bisharp, and common Scarf users that might be. So like that means like Tornadus T outspeeds all of the Scarf variant Landorus T. So Pokemon that Scarf U-turners, namely, but also just Scarf physical attackers in general. Scarf Chomp. These Pokemon will all be dishing a lot of damage out. So again, what you're gonna really want is, that's why I really think Steel types and strong physically defensive Pokemon will really be great ways to switch into and take the hits that Hoopa-Unbound wasn't meant to take. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to tune in on Saturday where we do a laddering series with a team built around or including Hoopa-Unbound, so you can see some of Hoopa-Unbound's monstrous ability in action. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really like this new setup I made. It took me a while to set up, but I think it looks good. I think it helps me delve into stuff. And so, yeah, alright, I will see you